So today I want to talk about what's next for Switch Online, mostly GameCube Switch Online, and I know immediately, as soon as people hear that, they're going to be like, no, they're only going to do remasters for that. And like I've discussed in my previous video, they'll do remasters for some of the big hitters, sure, like Wind Waker, maybe even Paper Mario, you got me there. But what about the other 90% of the GameCube library that Nintendo owns? Oh wait, they're not going to remaster Double Dash, all four Mario Parties, the Mario Sports games? I thought so myself as well. So, GameCube Switch Online makes sense. Obviously, it wouldn't be all the big hitters, because again, some of them will be remastered, but you get the point there. So, want to go over that. So the first thing we know, right, this is from a long time ago when 3D All-Stars first released, is that they're using a GameCube and Wii emulator for 3D All-Stars. Oatmeal Dome posted that, so we know that they have created a GameCube emulator for Switch and it runs just fine. Maybe it's not ideal, maybe there's some like things that are missing or whatever, but for the most part, it works just fine. So GameCube games can work on the Switch emulator if anybody was concerned. I wasn't, it's over a 20-year-old system, but still. Great to know. And they made a general GameCube emulator, and they've been testing stuff like Strikers and F-Zero. So that's pretty interesting as well. So it could work for any game. This wasn't just made for Sunshine here. So that's the first bit of evidence, right? Second bit of evidence is from Nate the Hate here, who posted this video 8 months ago, right before the September Direct. They were talking about how like Game Boy and Game Boy Advance could come to Switch, which definitely could be, yes, and luckily they did. That was true, which is awesome. But moreover, Nate talked about how he has some contacts that couldn't confirm when exactly, but they have heard that a limited selection of GameCube games that won't be remastered will be coming to Switch Online at some point. On the Switch, not the next-gen system, on the Switch. So that's cool to hear too. So that's definitely more evidence there. I get it, Nate's a leaker, he's not 100% accurate, none of these guys are, but he is one of the more credible people. So I think it's worth at least looking at and analyzing. Third thing is, we know that there's still N64 and Game Boy Advance titles coming at some point, right? Well, at least for the N64 we know it's this year. These, we have no idea. So get this ad out of my face. So we got 4 games here, and we have 4 games on here that have yet to be on the Switch Online. Mario Party 3, Stadium 2, 1080, Excite Bike. Yes, GoldenEye is not on that list, but it already released, so it doesn't apply. So we are in June 1st, so we are going to get one new N64 game this month, because it seems like they're alternating between Advance and 64, and last month we got 3 Advance games, which was great, and then this month we will probably get one of these N64 games right here. Cool. So we would have 3 N64 games left and 4 GBA games. Okay, what's the problem? Well, last time, before the September 2022 Direct, they stopped announcing what N64 games were coming and already finished off their slate of games. So then by the time the September Direct came by, they announced a new slate of games for N64, including GoldenEye, which is great, cool. My whole thing is, we have 8 games left. We may even have more, because if you'll recall, this month we got Mario Advance 1, 2, and 3, and those were not on the coming soon list at all. So they might throw some more of those in as well. But for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to say 4 more GBA and 4 more N64, including 1 this month. So, that's 8 months of content. By the time we get to the September Direct, there will be, what, 4 games left that need to come out from the confirmed list of both GBA and N64 combined? There will be 4 left? Yeah. October, November, December, January. Yep. Yeah, and that's assuming 1 came out for September already. So, my point here is, would Nintendo really, truly announce yet another slate of N64 and GBA games when they wouldn't have even gotten done with the slate that we currently have now? I don't think so. They've never done that before. Why would they do that now? You know, that doesn't make a ton of sense to me. So that's a key point there as well. Another point is, well, okay, fair enough, you know, but how come in like September 2020, pandemic aside, they didn't announce anything for Switch Online? Well, because that was only the $20 tier at that time. The $20 thing, right? It was like, okay, so you would get your games every once in a while, but the games weren't the main focus. You had to pay the $20 to play online for like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, all the big titles we all know and love today. So the games were kind of pushed to the side. We see that with the quality of a lot of them on the service, not gonna lie. But yeah, no, the games are a nice bonus, but they're clearly not the main reason you get the $20 tier. The expansion pack, the games are the only reason you get that. So the games and the new systems are the most important aspect of the expansion pack. And as a result, you got to come with the big hitters. Now, my last point is, okay, well, what about future N64 and GBA games, right? I made a list here of some of my GBA and N64 and even Super Nintendo and Game Boy games that I would like to see. So there's 4 major N64 games left, I would say. Yes, Jet Force Gemini, Killer Instinct. There's a couple others, I get it, but Jet Force Gemini doesn't even control well. You thought GoldenEye controlled bad? Jet Force Gemini is going to control even worse. So I don't see a point in including that. Now, right off the bat, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Perfect Dark, I would love them to be there. I really, really would. But there's no way. The application, Switch Online, is rated T. There's no way they're going to put rated M stuff on there. So we'll get 4 of these. Obviously, we'll get more N64 games, but these are like really the last big hitters for the N64. They really are. Sure, there could be a couple more that you could argue, but like really, there's not a lot. N64, there's never been a lot of major titles overall. So how do you compensate for that? Obviously, Game Boy Advance helps. There's a ton here that you could take from, absolutely. But moreover, you would add a new system, absolutely, yeah. Because think about it too. They easily could have waited for Game Boy and Game Boy Advance this upcoming September. Easily. But they got them out of the way. Why? Let's be honest. Game Boy, besides the Pokemon games, haven't really aged that well and are pretty basic and generic. Not to say that they shouldn't be there, not to say that there aren't great games besides Pokemon, there are, but you can't sit here and honestly tell me you are like crazy freaking out about Game Boy Switch Online. It's cool, it should be there, but that's all there really is to it. It's cool and it should be there. Yeah, it's nice, but it's nothing that you're going crazy about. GBA, substantially better library, way more interesting and cool, but again, not a crazy thing here. Again, it's nicer than Game Boy and Game Boy Color, absolutely. Has a way better games list, in my opinion, definitely. But am I going to sit here and be like, oh man, it's like really crazy stuff going on here? No. You could emulate that stuff on a potato at this point. It's not crazy or that even exciting. I know that sounds bad. I love GBA Switch Online so far, but it's not crazy, you know? It's not like a huge, big thing to be like, oh man, you know, there it is. You know? So I think that's why they didn't save it till September. They could have, but they didn't for some reason. So that leaves September wide open. And again, they're not going to announce more games for the services here for N64 and GBA, because we're not going to get through our confirmed list right now. Why would they add more games on top of that? Then it's just going to get even more confusing. You know? So what do? How do you keep people incentivized on the expansion pack? Because the 4 games that will be left, those are not going to cut it. People are not going to stay subscribed to the expansion pack for 4 games that are confirmed, and then hopefully some more in the future. Just like, well, we kind of need something a little more than that. And if they're not going to announce any new games at that time, which again, why would they? I mean, what else do you add? And this is where Game Boy Switch Online comes in. Again, this is part of me being hopeful. I've really, really, really wanted Switch Online GameCube for a long time, but it does make sense. It does make sense. Also, my last point, Nintendo's been going after GameCube emulators really hard, specifically Dolphin right now. And to my recollection, right, I could be wrong, but from what I know, the last time that they went this hard on an emulator site, they did it for Nintendo 64 emulators, and they did it because shortly after, they released N64 Switch Online. Coincidence? Could be. Also, could not be. You know? I get that the situations aren't exactly the same. It's a little bit different. They have found some yikes things in Dolphin that are actually a problem. I get it. But still, it still does line up, you know? So, we'll see. Again, yes, they're going to do some GameCube remasters, but you cannot seriously tell me, not even all the games on this picture here are getting remasters. Like, come on. Like, we'll maybe get, like, 5 to 10 GameCube games that get remastered. Okay, what about the other 95% of the GameCube library? Are we just going to throw that out then? Or that's why I don't like the remaster argument. Because, yeah, we're going to get remasters, but only to a certain extent. Are they going to remaster Pikmin? No. Like, come on. It doesn't sell that well. It really wouldn't make sense to remaster 1 and 2 as much as people will love it. No, that makes way more sense for a Switch Online. Double Dash, we're not getting that remastered. Same thing with Kirby's Air Ride. Luigi's Mansion, we're not getting remastered because it just got remastered for 3DS. Do you really think that they would do it again in this short of a turnaround? Probably not. Wind Waker we might actually get. Same with Thousand Year Door. Metroid Prime we already got. F-Zero we may get. But Melee, you're hilarious. So, yeah. Ooh, even right here, Custom Robo, no. This we could get. The rest of these we would not get, except Twilight Princess and Echoes. Do you really think we would get Dachshund the Giant remastered or Animal Crossing remastered when we already have an Animal Crossing on Switch? Pokemon Coliseum? No. As much as I would love it, I don't think so. Like okay, I would buy this immediately. I'm just saying. Make it have the Wavebird design. Yes, that'd be so sweet, dude. That'd be great. That would be awesome. I would love that. So yeah, in my opinion, there's a lot of evidence here. The Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, again, not that they're bad. I'm glad that they're there. They should be there. But they do feel like the calm before the storm. Because again, they easily could have held those off for September. Easily. Why didn't they? Interesting, isn't it? Maybe they have something bigger planned for September. Because again, the 4 games between N64 and Game Boy Advance that are going to be confirmed to be coming out, that's not really going to be enough to keep people on the expansion pack. I don't think so anyway. Because, I mean, it's literally 4 games. And they're not, like, huge major... It's not like Mother 3 or, like, Pokemon Emerald or something, you know? So, yeah. We'll see. This could easily be disproven in the upcoming weeks and months, you know? But I do think there is serious evidence here. Because, again, why wouldn't they? My last point... I know I already said my last point, but I keep thinking of more stuff. So, here's the biggest reason I'm against the remasters. Switch Online is a service that we already know is going to transfer over to the next generation Nintendo platform, whatever that may or may not be. Okay? Cool. So, it's transferring over to the next system. It's a service. They're constantly adding content and systems to it. Why would they stop at Game Boy and Game Boy Advance then? The point of a service is to continue to expand and grow it to get more potential customers in, or to get more customers going to the higher tiers, like the expansion pack, for example. Okay, cool. Stopping right now at Game Boy Advance, well, fine, is only going to hurt the service, because then more and more people are going to leave the expansion pack. It's just like, okay, I've already played all the GBA and N64 games I want. There's no new systems coming. We out. Like, why would you pay the $50 then, you know? I wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, well, we're kind of done here. And then the expansion pack will flop. So from a business side, they kind of have to do this eventually. Look, it may not be this September, I may be wrong on that, but GameCube is the next system up, and it would sell subscriptions. And at the end of the day, that is all they care about, is selling subscriptions. How do you do that? Boom, GameCube Switch Online. Especially because, again, we are running out of quality N64 titles real quick, and GBA, while nice, is not the end-all be-all. You know, it's not like a crazy thing. Because again, that was already on Wii U and it's not hard to emulate. And yeah, nice that it's there, but it's not going to be shaking the foundation. Especially right now, when 7 out of 10 of the Game Boy Advance Switch Online games are just Mario games. Yes, WarioWare counts. I looked it up. It's a spin-off. So, you know, not crazy exciting in the Game Boy Advance realm right now. It's really not, unless you're a heavy Mario fan. It's really not that exciting right now. So, yeah, these are all my thoughts. Again, it's a subscription, it's a service. This is going to happen eventually. Maybe not in September, what I'm thinking, but at some point it will, because they have to make their money. And just keeping the systems we have now is not going to be enough. People are going to leave. It's going to be a whole thing. So, how do you keep people incentivized to stay at the expansion pack when it's all about new systems and games? Right here, and right here. Actually, yes, could we get this like today? I'm just saying. But yeah, those are all my thoughts about GameCube Switch Online. Thanks to Nintendo Life for this mock-ups here of GameCube Switch Online from fans from a few years ago. It looks pretty awesome, actually. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I definitely think it's an inevitability at some point. May not be as soon as we want, but it's going to happen at some point. And yeah, thanks for watching.